long pull round. There it is. Happy days. We're just getting straight on with it. Right then guys, welcome to another episode of Hooked. My name's John Murray and I'm an angling addict, and today I'm down on the new Junction Canal and we're down at Barnby Dun. So it's a lovely little canal. It's probably about, I don't know, I would say 20 to 25 metres wide. So I'll just give you a little view of it. So I'm looking down there. Next to me, on the peg just down here, I've got John Willoughby. Next to him I think it's John Keeley. After that it's Rob. And I'm not sure who's on the next ones, but Willie's on the end peg. There's only 7 of us fishing today. I think a lot of people are on holiday, so it's a bit of a low turnout. Fingers crossed, I've got a good chance of actually winning this one. We just look down to my right, we've got the swing bridge which goes over Barnby Dun just down there. Now, I'm on the very first fishable peg on this length. I'm not overly happy with it, to be honest. If you look across, there's all this willow cover right up the canal, and I haven't got any in front of me. The reason that's important is because this canal's got some big chub in it, and I know that because I've had them out in the past. Right, so with that in mind, I'm going to actually target these chub, but obviously I haven't got the cover. I think what I'm going to do initially is go out on a little block end feeder. I'm not going to feed any ground bait whatsoever today. The only baits I've brought with me are casters, dead red maggots, hemp and tares. So I'll quickly show you what I've got set up. I've set 2 whips up. I've got 2 rigs. One is a 0.4 gram Trabuco float and it's shotted with number 10s all the way down the line, just shirt button style, about every 6 inches. And that's going down to a size 18 carbon match hook. It's 0.13 main line down to 0.9 bottom. The other 5 metre whip is set up with a very similar float when I can find it, and that's one of these little map floats, again 0.4 grams. So this one I've got set at full depth. It's around about 8 foot deep at 5 metres, and this one I've set a little bit shallower at 6.5 foot, just so that if the roach come off the bottom we can actually target them there. The 5 metre line is the staple. There's lots of roach to be taken out on it, but the match winning fish are going to be those chub. Now then, there's also some massive perch in here, and I know this because I've had several roach taken by them, and these, when I say massive, I mean like these are 4 pound plus. So I've set up an edge rig today, and I've actually brought a 13 Jura slip. All I've brought in pole wise is just a top 4. That's it. I've not brought any more of the pole because there's so many people walking up and down the towpath here, cyclists, etc. It's just going to be a nightmare to fish long pole. I also tried it previously, put some ground bait in on the line, and all I could catch down the middle was basically little skimmers. So I just thought, do you know what, it's kind of pointless. I'm going to target the roach, target the chub, and maybe get some perch down the inside, just off the tins. We've got about 4 foot of depth, and for that I've actually set up a little carp rig. And this is it. It's a little Drennan carp one, 0.1 gram. And we've just got a couple of number 10s down the line and a 13 Jura slip on it. Right guys, that's actually time, so I'm going to have to jump on the box. So, still haven't done the intro. I told you I'm always late on these matches. I'm going to start out just feeding hemp and tares down to my right hand side, and this is going to be my roach line. I'll keep explaining the rest of the setup as we go along, but I'm going to fire casters across. As I say, I'm going to start out on the little 10 foot bomb rod, and I've just put a little black cap block end feeder on it. I've got 0.15 bottom on this again. If you can see that, I've bored out the holes so that hemp and caster can flow through this as well. So I can also feed hemp and caster through this, but I've chopped some worm up to start with, and I'm going to throw this across to the far bank sort of brambles. That's all I've got. I haven't got any willows, unfortunately. I'm just going to see if there's any chub there straight away while we get the hemp and tail line going. So I could be panicking at this point, but actually I can see that Rob isn't ready either. He's shouted time and he's still messing about. He's not even sat in his box right now. So I'm doing all right. So I'm going to put half a worm on. Got a size 16 carbon feeder hook on. And there goes a cyclist with his music blaring out. So size 16 carbon feeder hook on, 0.15 bottom. It's just on a free running bead, and I'm gonna send it over to the brambles. I haven't shown you any of the bait tray, so there's a quick look. Dead reds, the worms, chop some worms up, casters in water, hemp and tares, and then we've got tares for the hook. We've got a boat coming through, so I'm going to retrieve this. So I say I'm also going to fish caster across to the far bank, and I'll start loose feeding that once we get going nicely. So I'm just settling in right now. Now that boat's gone, I'll try and get this feeder chucked back out there. That's it, lovely, right across to the cover. So it is pretty deep, this canal. Got a 1 ounce tip in, don't need any more than that. 20 grams is more than enough to hold. There's, well, strangely it's backing up a little bit at the minute. It's probably as this boat's come through and there's another boat coming down. In fact, there's another one following that down, so I'm hoping they're going to clear this line, get that line fed. I'm going to, down this inside, just chuck in dead reds for now. And that's going to be the perch line. So it looks like it might be a busy day with the boats. I'm hoping once these few have gone through that we get a clear run at this. And we are actually getting a bite here. So I'm just going to dip this rod because it may not be, well, I think if it was a chub it'd have proper hauled round, but it could just be a perch or something over there. Yeah, still biting. I'm just going to leave it a second, see if we can let these boats go over. The last thing I want to be doing is hooking into a good fish and trying to bring it under one of these. I suspect it's only a small one. And actually the boat's got me. I don't believe it. Come on. Are we free? Somehow we've got off it. So that's a nightmare. But got everything back. Talk about lucky. Right. But just inspect the line for damage. Looks okay. We must have just dragged under the flat bottom of the barge there somehow. I'm amazed that actually hooked us. But we've got out of it. Right, let's try one more time then. I don't think we'll leave the feeder in if we've got boats coming through. That's going to be a problem. So it's obviously quite shallow right across, because you can see that the angle of the line going into the canal is very low, whereas if I was fishing middle it'd be going in pretty steep. This inside is very, very deep. I've got 4 foot even on the top of the shelf, and that is going round, so there is fish tucked up tight over there. I missed that one. Maybe it wasn't a chub that, but it might have just been a perch. I think I'm going to wait, see if anything actually hooks itself here. So I would expect a very good bite, and there's something straight on that. Okay. Get some good amount of hemp in. And more dead reds down the inside. Now the breeze isn't really lending itself to firing caster across right now, so I'm going to have to time that. Actually, it's blowing from my right to left today. Ideally, I'd have it over my back, so I might not be able to fish waggler and caster if the wind stays up, but if it goes down we will. And I'll try and feed in between the wind blowing, and that's another rattle on the tip there, but these aren't proper bites. I am looking for a proper bite on this worm from a big fish, and it could just be little skimmers these having a go, or small perch, so I'm not going to waste too much time on it. I'll build this hemp line as quick as I can, hemp and tares. Predominantly just going to fish tear on the hook. I may add caster in if I think it's worthwhile, but if we can't fire caster across with a catapult today, then, and that's gone round and we're in. Not a big fish though. So that's disappointing. Yeah, it's just a small perch. But that don't mean they're not there. I'm going to go in with caster on the hook. Try and get some caster over there. It looks like the canal's running to the left, but I think that's just surface skim. There's a lot of scum on the top around the inside here, so that might provide some cover for the perch on the inside where I am. Actually, as I look down to my left, it's pretty much all the way down, and that is going round again. Is that a perch? I thought that was just absolutely going to bury then. Might have missed that. Yeah, fish on. So yeah, skimmer. So these are what I was tending to be catching on the pole over ground bait down the middle in the deep water. There seems to be a lot of them in here, and pretty much everywhere. But you don't get that problem on the tares. I think I only caught one on the tear, and everything else was a roach. And the barred out feed is working nicely. The bait's coming out of it spot on. I'm not doing a big pullback on the tip rod today. It's quite a short chuck. That was a bite immediately there. Try and tighten up and it just flew around. So there's plenty of fish over there. I'm not particularly interested in these little fish on the tip. So I'm just trying to get that early bonus, but don't know if this peg lends itself to these chub at least. Could be a struggle to get one out because it's all in the sunlight over there really. So I've got to get tight to the brambles just to get the cover. There we go. Fish on. Not a bad fish. Double caster, block end feeder. It's coming inside here. Oh, it's a bream, of all things. Of all things. So, well, would you Adam and Eve it? Honestly didn't think we were going to catch any bream today, but not a bad little skimmer that, double caster. I don't mind if skimmers like that turn up. There you go, another lunatic on a scooter this time. You've got to be quick to get your pole out of the way. I don't know how John Willoughby's coping. So I just tried there to fire some caster over, and they're falling way short because of how the wind is. It's blowing back sort of this way and towards me a little bit. So I've got no chance of feeding by catapult today. This tip line looks to be going quiet already. So I'll pick the whip up. Get a tear on, that's it, mount it on. We'll start on the full depth rig. If these fish start to move up in the water, coming up for these tears, that's when I'll pick the other rig up. But I can also fish that full depth should I need to. I haven't set anything up super shallow, but I can play around with these rigs. I like to have one full depth, search the full column out, give them a chance to take. I'm going to show you the waggler setup, but as I say, right now I'm not going to be able to fish it, although it does seem to be easing off, but there you go, literally as we speak, that's the first fish taking on tears. Lovely little roach. So we'll just try and build a bit of weight of these and try and make sure Rob don't go galloping off in the distance. Just trying to keep my eye on him, see if he's catching. I haven't seen him. Yeah, he's definitely getting bites, he's making strikes. But missed that one. So they're not quite queuing up yet. But I did have a couple of little dips on the float there. I didn't quite take the tear properly. Just going to try a rig that's set 18-inch shallower. See if they're just off bottom. More often than not, roach will be. Well, canal's running quite hard at the moment. The tail line ain't really doing a lot, so I'm going to have a look. Some dead reds down the inside. So I've got about 4 foot of depth down here. Some pretty heavy gear on. 015 main line, 015 bottom, and a size 14, I think it is, size 14 barbless carp maggot hook, and that's a bite straight away and we're in. So there's a perch. Not the monsters that do live in here, but they're well worth catching. And another cyclist, so I don't even have to think about them because all my gear's out of the way. Canal stopped running. Just keep that hemp and tear going into that deeper water, and there's another bite on the maggot and another perch. Oh no, it's actually a roach shot. Amazing. So they're not rig shy. we go. Oh, decent fish. What's this? Another perch. They're absolutely cleaning them up down there. Right, it was just developing, but the canal's starting to run. They don't seem to feed. When it runs hard, it seems to put them off. I've got no chance of hanging on to this either. It's just tonking off at the moment. Right, it's just easing off. I'm just going to lower this rigging behind this rubbish. Such a delicate little rig. Now it's eased off, we'll feed. A little lift and lower, and boom. There we go, another fish on. And another perch. Bingo. Oh, dropped him. Damn it. So I'm fishing this rig hard on the deck at the minute, but obviously it's so light, it's only got like 2 number 11s or something dotting it down. That's I can easily shallow it up if needs be. I've just switched off a little bit. There's definitely plenty of fish there. More hemp and tares in. For a throwaway line, bumped out of that one. It's the only trouble with perch. So for a throwaway line, this ain't a bad call, this perch line. Trying to see if Rob's catching, but oh, I don't know. Yeah, he's catching. Look like tiny little skimmers though. There we go, we're in again on the perch line. Might as well take everything I can get off this. There we do. Right. Hang on, pet.
Hang on.
Don't touch it.
I know.
It's just over his leg here. Oh!
Tristan!
Jesus Christ. Right. Yeah, I smashed it up.
Right.
Don't apologise then. Unbelievable. Dog's just smashed me off. She didn't even apologise. So that's my feeder rig gone. I was just ripped through that. I was trying to free the dog from the line so it didn't smash my tip. Fortunately the rod's okay. Raving. Anyway, settle down. Try and get back to catching perch. Fish on. Small. Dropped another one there. There's the trouble with perch fishing. You are going to bump them and drop them, unfortunately.
Alright, cool. You catching?
Getting a few, mate, yeah. Yeah, getting them down inside at the moment.
Are you mad?
Yes. Right, well, the old canal's been running off a little bit hard. I've just been nattering to a chap called Jeff. So Jeff, if you have subscribed to my channel and you're watching, here's a big eye from me. I'm really just trying to get some fish feeding confidently. So while the canal was running off hard, I just put the whip down and I thought, right, I'm going to set the feeder rod back up since the old dog ran through my line. So I've got that option back available to me. The wind's actually dropped down and I'm starting to contemplate feeding caster across. I'll just go and have a look on this tear again. They don't seem to be taking it as well as I'd hoped yet. So I'm going to keep the perch line going because I think there's still plenty of fish to be had on that. And I think because the canal's running off hard, it's making the fishing harder. But there does seem to be a lot of fish coming up as well. That's it. Oh, that was a proper bite on the tear. So still on the full depth rig, just letting it run through. But still the bites aren't as good as I'd hope. And there we go. Fish on. That's a lovely, lovely roach. Yeah. That's another one. Nearly lost him. Lovely, lovely, lovely fish. Yeah, they're not big fish these, they're probably about 2 ounce a piece. So they're nice little weight builders. I was getting a little worried that they weren't going to switch onto the hemp and tares at one point. I think it's just purely down to the canal running off hard at times. As soon as you get the presentation, oh, I mean that fish, I didn't even have to strike that. That fish just absolutely buried it and hooked itself. Fish on. Lovely. Another little roach. Well, we're starting to bag, so I'm going to shut up and I'm going to say, let's cue the music and have a catch montage. Well, that's a nice dog roach taken on the whip. Nice little montage over, and the wind has eased off, and I've been feeding caster to the far bank as well, in between catching these roach on the tears on the whip. So I'm starting to feed caster heavy in the hope that maybe we can sling the tip or the waggler over. The boat traffic seems to have eased off at the moment, and I still want to go looking for that bonus fish. But this roach fishing is absolutely brilliant. Canal's just backing up a touch at the moment. Whether a boat's coming through or what, I don't know. It's fairly slow paced and it's not impacting the fishing too much at this moment in time. So it's okay to still feed. These roach are tuned into the tears now. I'm just going to rest this line. I know you shouldn't really come up feeding fish, but I know there's so many good quality other fish in here that you've kind of got to force yourself to go and have a look for them. So we'll just keep feeding this line. I'm probably going to open up another bag of hemp. Keep those casters going in long, probably in the next 25 minutes or so. I'll have a look on that line and see if we can find a chub or maybe another bream. Might try the waggler. If that don't work, or I'm struggling to hold with it, then I'll go back on the feeder rod. But I'm not going to waste a huge amount of time on it. But let's see if we can get some perch down here. See if there's any big boys. Yeah, so there is a boat coming, so that's what made the canal back up. Locks must have opened. That's another perch, I reckon. Yeah. Okay, well the perch line's slowed off a little bit. There's certainly fish still there. There are fish topping all over the swim on the inside 5 metre, maybe just a bit beyond line now. I'd almost be tempted to set up a shallow rig, but I can catch deep, and I can probably catch easier deep. And this rig's so light when it drops through, if you're going to catch on the drop, you will anyway. I can't resist but have a look again with the tear. I think some of them are perch though, coming up chasing fry. So we're not really getting pulls at the float as it goes through. And that's why I've opted to go with the sort of full depth rig, but dropping it through, and then most of the bites are coming down at the bottom. So I think they're probably following these seeds down. And there you go. And you think, well, bulking a rig might work. But actually, a lot of the time with roach, when they feel the bulk, they tend to let go. So the strung out rig is just altogether better for them, really, in my opinion. We're not having to wait that long for the rig to go through the water and get a bite. There's got to be fish on. Just held the float down slightly. Another pristine roach. Most of these, never seen a hook. I want to go and look for a chub, but oh dear, how do you stop fishing for these? Love roach fishing. Right, well, little update. Rob's back out on the long pole. He seems to be chopping and changing. Willie seems to be sat on the long pole. Unless they're catching really big quality fish, which I don't think they are, can't be the right move. Fishing the whip. It's got to be the right way. Right, I just had 3 or 4 bites there where I've completely missed. They're still there. I may try the shallower rig again, but I've got to go and have a look on the waggler. So I never got a chance to cover this off this morning, but quite simply we've got a 3 gram Drennan VisiWag 5, and it's got a lovely visible tip. It's locked off with a couple of float rubbers. Got a quick change adapter on there, a few number 8s stuck underneath the float, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 down the line. Size 16 carbon match hook, 0.15 bottom, and main line's £3 Maxima. I'm going to give it a sling over there. It's only set like 3 foot deep, Don't know if I said that already. But that's how I've had some chub out on here. Don't tell everyone. And annoyingly, there's a bit of debris close to where I want to be, but that's nicely across, is that? Definitely getting bites, but it could just be small fish. Well, annoyingly, the canal's running, so I'll put the waggler down. Well, it stood still really. We'll stick the feeder back out. So I don't want to spend long on it. If all we get is a small fish, then I'll be off this fairly sharpish. Well, I'm just not seeing any chub splash in this swim today at all. I just don't think it's got the cover for them. So I'll probably just abandon this line now. May have a look on it if things go quiet, but I reckon the whip's just going to continue to fish all the way through. I'll just try my shallow rig, or shallower. So 18-inch off bottom, thereabouts. The sun's finally coming around to get us. Okay, well, got a slight issue in that the pole sync camera, or this camera down here, is getting too hot. So we'll have to do without it for now. Just hope this one don't go off. So I've tried the shallower rig, and it's just not working as well as the full depth one. I'm not getting bites on it. This full depth one's just moving through, and with a little bit of tow, it's just rising the bait ever so slightly. And that's where these roach are taking it just off bottom. Lovely fish. Right, it's really time to get my head down. Put as many of these together as we can. Let's have another catch montage.
This tension is rising so thick we just might choke. But if we keep moving, it ain't us that's gonna wind up broke. Some people might think we're crazy, but crazy is all we've known. It's probably that they just ain't ready. That's why they're going up in smoke. We're giving this all we've got. We're taking our only shot. On a tightrope, we're surviving. Yeah. Trying to make it to a new horizon. This moment feels so
I've had to give you a new angle because the cameras are getting too hot out in the sun. This one's finally cooled down. Camera management as well as trying to fish. Right, well, this canal's just slightly pulling backwards. I'm going to go on the perch line again, see if there's anything waiting for me down there. That's really a decent fish. Well, the perch seems to have gone. Can't get a bite. Oh, how on earth do you miss a bite like that? Sunk all the way under. Been messing about with it. Just having a bit of a thought, there's some good fish showing on top now. Getting attacked by flies. I think I might shallow the rig right up. Oh, still getting bites at full depth, but missing a lot. The shallow rig right up, shove some shots up under the float. Just see if they're like, you know, 2 or 3 foot deep. Yeah, definitely, I'm gonna do it. Got just under an hour left to go. And the heat on the water, I think, is driving them up. So let's do it. So the rig's set, what? Probably 2.5 foot deep. Got a lot of line between this and the tip, but hopefully it'll cast. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to swing it out because I've got a lot more line to hand. Well, to allow me to get out further now, which is not where I want to be. I just want to be over the same line we've been fishing all day. Well, I think if we were going to get one, it'd have been fairly instant. So, probably too difficult to catch off the surface. I don't know whether those fish are taking flies or just mouthing for air or what, but it's definitely not the way to go. So back to the full depth rig. Well, these baits have gone really odd. You know what? I'm going to try cast it down here. Well, caster don't seem any better, although we did just have a boat go through, so that probably didn't help. Well, I've been stuck without a fish for probably the last 15-20 minutes now, and I'm still getting bites, but they've gone really funny on the tears. I just don't know what's going on really. Tried shallow, tried off bottom. The full depth rig seems to be the only one that's doing any kind of damage, and they're just not biting right now. They're still there, they're still having a go at it, but I just can't hit them. Can't hit them. So what do we do about this? Should we try a dead red? Let's try a dead red on. Let's just chuck it out there. Bite. What's that? Look at that. That's the difference in maggot to the seed. We've not had a fish that small all day, so we're not going on that. We're getting back on the tears. Just gotta hope let this switch back on and bite properly. Might just be something to do with the flow and the boat going through. I don't even know how they're doing it, holding the float under. And that's again, so I just can't hit these. Don't know what's going on. Quick look on the perch line while the boat comes through. There's just nothing down there now. Tip, bomb rod, 3 red maggots on the hook. Let's go. Well, there just don't seem to be anything willing to bite. So it's back on the whip, back on the tears. Try and connect with something. Still getting the unhittable bites. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Tell you what, let's put the hemp on. That's not made a difference. Missed the bite on that as well. Right, finally. Had a bite there. It destroyed it under and then came back up and then came back and took it. Don't know whether the stamp of these has got a bit smaller, but anyway, we broke the bad spell there. Well, I just shalloted the other rig up even more, down to probably 2 foot maximum, 20 inches. Still can't get a bite on it. I don't know why, because there's so many roach. Well, I don't know what they are, but I assume they're roach showing on the surface. But they're impossible to catch there. So pretty much just got to ride this out now. Don't look like anybody's really catching. That said, John's just got a little one next to me. They have just gone super weird. Last time I was here, the fish got better and better. Today, there's probably better fish in there, but I can't hook them. Totally out of ideas now. And again, they are fiddling about with this. The only thing I can do is just cut back on the feed now. They're obviously switched onto these tears. Maybe just giving them too many options. Yeah, another one. Now there are some small fish in there. JW's got another one, but they're about the size of that last fish that I caught. Oh, now you see, I was on top of that. Good bite and mugged me off again. Yes, nice fish. So, just going down to a dozen grains, not feeding as heavy now. There's only 10 minutes left. Anything I can put in the net now. Oh yes, lovely. Lovely bite, that one. And a nice fish. See, They're not massive, but they seem to be the better stamp ones. Obviously there are some bigger fish in here. We've had some chunkier roach today, but not many. Yes. Oh, that's a nice fish again. So we're having a nice little finish now. Yeah, still dabbing at this bait. A little bit of patience is required, and I had it there but missed the bite anyway. Yes. And another. So cutting back on the feed, just making the difference now. Right, that fish is on. That was a proper bite. Maybe time for just one more. No. That's time. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And remember, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, and that way you won't miss an episode every time I upload one. Right, I'm going to switch these cameras off for a bit, let them cool down, get the gear away, and then we'll get weighed in and capture that on camera. I'll check in with you at the end and give you all the results. Stay tuned. Right.
What we got then?
59.
I'll quote 85. If I've got £4, I'll make a video. They like
Well, Adam will be really happy about that because he calls you Rob's Buns after you exposed it at Beale that day. 85. You had him at long pole then? You fished off a ground bait?
long pole and on short pole, but I just couldn't get decent fish.
I
just couldn't get anything other than them.
I won't fish it long pole. I won't fish it long pole. Pain it backside.
On M?
On tears.
I caught 2 fish on M short, 2 on tear, and then couldn't get another bite on it.
I've had every roach on tears. 4 metre net. Try not to swear. No, it's alright.
You got a pen rod?
Ooh, 7.15.
7.15, well done job.
Cheers, Rob.
Last today, me.
7.15.
Shut up, I've heard it all before.
No, I'm telling you.
You're on camera.
I ain't got £4.
Behave. Right, that's a beautiful roach that. Have you seen that one? Rob, that was the best one of the day.
Yeah.
Lovely fish that. Yeah, I haven't put any ground bait in at all. But anywhere between these trees, you get in them. Was there no fish crashing up above you? Did you not see any crashing today?
No.
They were crashing the other day.
Sure, even John's beating me. Look, I tell you, I'm last me today. Look at these.
Well done, John. Beautiful, mate. You got to be pleased with that, mate. Ooh, that's a good weight.
£6.7.
6, 7. Well done, John.
I'm telling you, he was like Mr. Crabtree. Everywhere he dropped it with split cane rod and centre pin, it were a net fish. What do you weigh, John?
7.15, mate. No bonuses.
£2. I've got about 4.
don't think I've
Will's
got £7.
got 54 fish. I've got 85 fish. I ain't got £4.
Did you catch them little things that didn't...
Them little bottle tops.
I went to get hold of it, I thought I'd put my fingers through
This
it.
lot here.
£7.
Bloody hell. Looks good on that one, John. There's a Tommy Ruffin bottom hanging on with its gill blades. Nah, if it don't go in net first time, it won't count.
That's fair enough. 1,000 rings this.
Wider here.
Why has
Yeah.
everybody brought a 7 metre net today?
Give them some water.
It only does look wider here.
Maybe so you can just see it back. 7.3.
Tight this.
Yours, 7.4.
7.15.
7.15.
Yeah.
I reckon you've won it then, John. End peg, well done.
What's Willie had?
Really netting quite a few
Well,
though, every time I've looked up.
Well, he's been netting him, he's had 54 fish, but he doesn't seem overexcited. No. And Dave next to me has had about a pound.
That's tight, that.
Eh?
That's tight.
Isn't it?
But I won't be taking any more than that for a fact.
Fat Willies? It's only Fat Willie you've got, Rod.
I never say anything about else, but... That's what we're doing.
Here we go, £10.
6, 7, bloody hell.
He says he's got 4, he's got 10.
I am, I'm telling you.
I've got 2.
Couldn't lie straight in bed, could he, John?
He's had a lot.
Oh!
A lot of
Bloody hell.
littles.
Blades.
85 fish there.
Might have been us too.
Ground bait and maggot.
Baiting, pinky.
Pinky.
Spun me a right load of them.
6-3. 6-3.
£6.3.
Not bad.
A bit more than I thought.
Well, Adam's going to be disappointed, Rob. Well, you're not going to get your ass out now, are you?
You never know. £1.10.
At least you've had some bites, John.
Yeah,
That's what counts. Nice day out anyway, wasn't it?
yeah. I got them, most of them look straight in front of me.
Not a lot in it really.
Have you just got back from Ibiza?
Pardon?
Have you just got back from Ibiza?
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
Nice.
Friday,
But you couldn't believe it when you got here and it was just as hot.
Well, I got to the airport and I thought, we turned around and go back home. I couldn't believe it. 30 odd.
Oh, look at that. They don't go through Riddle.
It will.
Oh, just made it one here.
Too late.
Too late.
Fat Willie.
Didn't notice it, didn't
MPEG Willie, see what he's done, he's ready to go, look.
£3.10.
310.
What is net? Gonna be close.
I think he's got it there.
Yeah, I did.
What you caught on with?
Stretch, squat.
Do you have any bigger? Nah, I've got a decent skimmer out with about it, the rest was just average.
It's going to be over 8 that. 8.6.
8.6.
Well done, Will.
Well,
Right then guys, well there we go. I didn't win again. I don't know what the angling gods have got against me, but a second place finish. So I've missed out by what, 7 ounces there to Willie. Yeah, so you've seen all the results I think, but if you haven't, I'll put them all on screen for you now. So there you go. Yeah, I honestly thought hemp and tares was the way to go. I've fished short all day. A lot of people have fished long pole, but Rob's sort of upset, I think, because he's had some insider info and he's gone out long and fished pinky and maggot over ground bait and just caught those little blade skimmers that I was telling you about. So I'm glad I didn't go that route anyway. But yeah, fair play to Willie. Well done, Will, on the win. £8, what was it, £8.6 I think he had, or £8.5, somewhere around there. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any of those chub either, but then neither did anybody else. So there's been the odd bit of bream out, but that's been about it. Right, thanks for watching, guys, and until the next one, tight lines.